So right now with Duke, I'm working on two things. One, he likes to kind of walk off when you go to get on him. And so I do the same with my colts or any of these other horses. I want this horse to stand still until we're ready to go somewhere. That limits any possibilities of getting hung in a stirrup, getting drugged, anything like that. And then I'm working on our flexing and our one rein stops. This is just teaching this horse to be more respectful of the snaffle and give into that pressure of that bit instead of kind of taking it and running off. And I want this horse just to walk off. He's been kind of worked up today. So this morning we were working on him standing tied, just being patient, working on that patience, because that stuff comes out on the ground. And so we want to be able to take care of that stuff on the ground, because if you don't take care of it on the ground, it's just a matter of time before you run into trouble when you're riding them. And we want these horses to be good, confident on the ground as they are when we're riding them. We can take a lot of that nonsense and disrespectfulness or anxiousness out of a horse on the ground, and then you don't have as many fits, or you don't have as many issues when you're riding them, temperament wise. And a lot of times when people get hurt or get into a wreck is when a horse has an attitude problem. And so right now, because I do feel that he's a little more worked up about stuff, we're just walking off and just working on our steering. And I want this horse to get to stop and then to get soft. He's getting a lot softer. He's real responsive off of my legs. It's gonna take quite a bit of time with this horse, just how he's bred, to get him confident and quiet. These horses are bred to go somewhere and go somewhere quick. And so where the owner of this horse wants him to be confident and quiet on the ground, wants him, so his grandchildren can be around him, and he wants to have a horse that he can go ride trails on. Well, this horse, we got to get into his mind and get him quiet and respectful. That way he can easily just go somewhere and be relaxed and be respectful when we ask this horse to do something, or we ask this horse to stop, or anything like that. And that's what the owner said. He said this horse is boogery and scared of stuff when he's riding him, and all of that is for sure showing itself on the ground. When we go to tie him up, he won't stand tied. He's anxious, he's worried, prancing around, kicking up in the air, and all of that stuff. Like I said, it will reflect what you see on the saddle, or when you're riding him, or what you experience will reflect on the ground. And so we have a chance to work on that mentality while we're riding him, but also while we have him on the ground. And so tying them up, letting them stand tied, relaxed, calm, learning that patience, that really gets into their mind. And so right now, you know, because he does kind of booger around some, I'm just letting him walk around. You know, I have him on a loose rein. He's just he's pretty relaxed. Or well, he's controlling himself enough to stay at a walk. And so that's good. And we're just gonna continue to work on our stops, and then when I want to get a really good bit of control on him at a walk and a trot before we do a whole lot of loping, just because I want to be in this horse's mind and get in his mind before we add a bunch of speed to it. Because you add a bunch of speed and your potential of getting into a wreck or having something go wrong is higher. But it also, just from the positive side of that, is like when you're riding a horse, you know, the better you get something at a slower speed, you know, the better. Because, you know, you need to have that, the foundation comes when you're riding a horse at a slow speed. You can do that really well, do the maneuver really well, and then you add speed to it. It'll get a little worse, but then you work at that speed for a while. But if you build the foundation at a slow speed, you can always slow that horse back down to that speed, get his mind right, and then go again. And so we're just gonna work on some of these, just trotting them out and then doing our one rein stops. And he will stop two-handed, and we can do, and I'll do that periodically through the ride just to remind him of that. But I want some softness through his body. I want some respect for this bit. And then it'll also improve that stop, that two-handed stop, if we can get him soft, side to side. So he's doing a lot better right here. And so I'm gonna pick up on it, and if he drags on it, I'm just gonna bump it. Sometimes this horse just kind of throws fits and just throws it kind of just a temperament. It's just like a little tantrum. And but the more we do all this kind of stuff, and we work on his patience, and we work on, you know, riding this horse consistently, and once we have a little bit more, put a little bit more time on him in this arena, and we can take him outside and put some just long rides on him. The more we do that, balance, you know, work with, you know, consistent work, consistent direction with opportunity to be patient. You know, the more we do that, the more it'll work on that mentality and that mindset of where he just gets to where he just throws a fit about stuff. Like when he stands tied, you know, that's a big thing. He'll just kind of throw a tantrum about stuff. When it's feeding time, he'll do the same thing. Kind of try to fight with these other horses around, kick up and do all this stuff. So it's all connected. There's nothing, you know, if you see things on the ground, it's gonna reflect when you're riding them. If you see things when you're riding them, it's gonna at some point reflect when you're, you know, vice versa. So we want to be able to work on all of it, and that's what our program does. Gives us an opportunity. We can work on a horse and give him direction from all angles. Then we can have those situations happen. You know, if a horse throws a fit or does something silly or crazy, you know, he can do it on the ground with our groundwork, or, you know, or working on tying them and being patient, those kind of things, we can get all that silliness out of them before we go to start riding them. And then when we ride them, then we can make a lot of headway because we're not fighting with any dangerous situations. So I like this. He's traveling around nice. Yesterday he was kind of boogering at some stuff over here just because there's some birds and some stuff over on the other side of the fence and different things. So we're just but I like that we're traveling on a loose rein. We're just at a trot here. He's staying at this trot on his own accord. He's steering, you know, we're able to steer him around here. You know, the more we do this flexing and these one rein stops, the better he'll give to this snaffle, give this bit. Notice sometimes when I go to pick up on that rein, he'll kind of brace against it and he'll fight it. So this horse will steer a lot better and just learn to give the pressure. You know, it's important to note that I'm not making this horse stay at a trot. If he goes to speed up, I'm going to bring him back down and stop him, and then we're going to go again. And I want this horse to stay at this trot, because that means he's respecting my guidance and he's respecting me riding him. And then the more we go, you know, he'll take that guidance and be respectful about it and be calm about it and just be a good situation. We're gonna do some more of this kind of stuff. Just these exercises where, you know, I want to make sure he's traveling out good, he's respecting me, put some miles under his feet, and then we can start taking him outside. Because I want a certain level of control on a horse before I take him outside. Because I want to be able to slow that horse's mind down, be able to slow him down, and remain in control. That way, you know, we don't have any wrecks or anything outside. You know, that's the point of a arena and arena work, is have a controlled environment where you can work on certain maneuvers pretty well. And that's what we're able to do here. Then we can take him outside or put him to work, or, you know, whatever that horse is trained to do, and do some good maneuvers there. There, and I just let him slow down and walk around. So right now, basically with him, this is kind of what we're working on quite a bit with him right now. And then as we go, we'll kind of work on some more body control, and then start taking him outside. And when we take him outside, we'll be able to just work on, it's a lot of the same stuff we're doing here. You know, it's speed control, it's, you know, will he stop, will he soften to me, you know, and then taking him up and down through the canyons and putting some miles under his feet. And so we want to kind of make sure all our buttons are there and our horse is responding how we want to, because when you do take a horse outside, things tend to fall apart a little bit, and so you got to be able to work on them and have a basis, have a baseline for that horse to fall back to, where you can get into his mind and remind him about the things that we've been working on. And so anyway, overall he's doing pretty good out here. You know, definitely, you know, a lot of the stuff on the ground we're working on, that way it's just going to be a better experience for everybody that's around him. Those, you know, like I said, standing tied, things like that, where it's just kind of important. I mean, it's important to have a horse that will stand tied and quiet and respectful of people that's around him and everything. So anyway, overall, like I said, pretty pleased with how he's coming along this week, and we'll continue to work on him, and we'll go from there. So that'll be our video. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.